Luxury doesn't usually collapse quietly. It implodes. One season you're seeing a bag front row at Fashion Week, arm hooked by celebrities, waitlisted for months. The next, it's sitting online, discounted, ignored, almost embarrassing to want. That's the meltdown no one in luxury wants to talk about, because these aren't random brands. These are names that defined status. Bags that once whispered wealth from across the room. Bags people saved for, flexed, protected with dust bags like heirlooms. And yet right now, today, some of them are selling for a fraction of what they once commanded. Not because they're fake, not because they're damaged, but because the market has turned its back. So the real question isn't, why are these bags cheap? The real question is, how did luxury lose its grip so fast? Was it oversaturation, logo fatigue, trend addiction, or something deeper, something structural, breaking the illusion of exclusivity? In this video, we're counting down 10 designer bags now selling for dirt cheap, ranked from worst collapse to strongest survivor. And pay attention, because each brand tells a warning story about modern luxury. By the time we hit number 1, you'll realize this isn't just about bags. It's about how status itself is being rewritten. And trust me, number 1 will shock you. The 10 Dolce & Gabbana Sicily bag. Early 2000s Italian glamour incarnate. The Sicily bag symbolized Mediterranean wealth, celebrity excess, unapologetic luxury that didn't whisper, it announced. Think red carpets, Capri summers, old money confidence wrapped in structured leather, brand controversies fractured the fantasy. When scandal touches luxury, the mystique cracks. And once that crack appears, the resale market smells blood. Cultural relevance faded. The aspirational dream collapsed into awkward silence. Once retailing well over $2,000, now reselling for a few hundred. Steep depreciation, slow resale velocity, heavy discounts that scream desperation. The numbers don't lie. The market has moved on. What once felt bold now feels complicated. Carrying it raises questions you don't want to answer. Status turned into hesitation. Confidence replaced by second-guessing. A luxury resort town no one vacations in anymore. The hotels are still there. The views haven't changed, but the crowds found somewhere new. If this was a fall from grace, the next brand shows what happens when icons get overplayed, rebranded, and lose their soul entirely. Number 9. Burberry British heritage solidified in plaid. Trench coats became status bags. Those unmistakable checks signaled old money, new money, any money that knew quality. For decades, Burberry meant timeless. Too many rebrands, too many logos, no clear identity. One season, their heritage. Next, their streetwear. Then, their quiet luxury. Then, they're loud again. The market got whiplash and stopped paying attention. Bags reselling at a quarter to half of retail. Weak collector demand. Listings that sit for months. Even vintage pieces struggle to command premium prices. From timeless to trying too hard. The confidence evaporated. Now it feels like a brand searching for itself. And luxury buyers don't wait for brands to figure it out. A classic song remixed too many times. The original was perfect, but after the 5th EDM version, the 7th acoustic cover, the 10th TikTok trend, you can't hear it the same way anymore. Next, when hype builds fast and disappears even faster. 48. Mansour Gavriel minimalist darling of the 2010s. Clean, quiet, tasteful. The bucket bag became shorthand for new luxury. Sophisticated insiders who didn't need logos to prove anything. It felt like a secret, a code, a whisper among those who knew. Oversaturation of the same bucket silhouette. When everyone discovers the secret, it stops being a secret. The exclusivity that made it desirable became the ubiquity that killed it. Low resale offers, crowded, secondhand listings, prices that barely move. The market is flooded. Supply overwhelmed demand. Value cratered. From insider chic to basic accessory. What once signaled taste now just looks expected, safe, a little boring. An indie cafe that franchised too fast. The original location had charm, character, a line out the door. Then they opened 50 more. Same menu, same aesthetic, but the magic gone. Now let's talk about a brand that lost value despite staying creative, beautiful, and well-made. We're 7. Chloe boho luxury icons. The Marcy, the Drew, the Faye. Each defined effortless French girl wealth, soft leather, romantic hardware, understated elegance. Chloe bags whispered instead of shouted, and that used to be power. No new flagship moment, identity drift, creative confusion. The design stayed pretty, but pretty isn't enough when luxury demands cultural momentum. They became background noise in a market that rewards bold statements, heavy resale markdowns, slow demand. Listings that linger. Buyers appreciate the craftsmanship but don't crave ownership. Pretty, but no longer powerful. It's the difference between admiring something and needing it. Chloe lost urgency. A beautiful novel no one rereads. Gorgeous prose. Compelling once. But when you finish, you set it down and never think about it again. Next, luxury's most dangerous trap, trend addiction. Number 6, Balenciaga, certain bags. Street luxury dominance. Shock value equaled status. The weirder, the better. Demna turned provocation into prestige. For a moment, Balenciaga owned the cultural conversation. Trend churn, polarization, hype burnout. When your brand identity is shocking, you have to keep shocking. But shock has diminishing returns. Add controversy, and the cultural momentum reversed violently. Sharp resale drops on non-icon styles. The city bag holds some value. Le Cagole has fans, but the experimental pieces? Cratering. From daring to dated. What felt cutting edge now feels try-hard. The confidence required to carry it vanished. A viral meme that aged badly. Hilarious in the moment, but 6 months later, cringe. And now, what happens when luxury goes too mainstream? Here's the truth, connecting every brand so far. Luxury didn't fail because quality dropped. It failed because exclusivity did. Once everyone can buy it, post it, flip it, status evaporates. The internet democratized access. Social media made visibility instant. Resale platforms turned scarcity into commodity. And luxury brands, addicted to growth, fed the machine. More SKUs, more collaborations, more discount codes from influencers. They optimized for volume and killed the very thing that made them valuable. Exclusivity. The bags didn't get worse, they just stopped being special. And in luxury, special is everything. If you're deep into this breakdown, hit subscribe, because the top 5 expose the real power shift happening in luxury right now, and it's already rewriting which brands will survive the next decade. 5. Prada, non-iconic lines, intellectual minimalism. Miuccia Prada turned nylon into luxury, made ugly beautiful, created anti-fashion fashion that somehow became the ultimate status symbol for the quietly powerful. Accessibility diluted prestige. When Prada expanded distribution, opened more stores, pushed more product, the scarcity equation broke. Some non-iconic models reselling for triple digits, not hundreds, triple digits total. That's a catastrophic value collapse for a luxury brand. The intellectualism that once felt exclusive now feels accessible, almost academic, lost its edge. A philosophy professor who started selling merch. The ideas are still sharp, but once you see the branded tote bags everywhere, the mystique dims. Next, when legacy becomes a liability instead of an asset. Number 4, Fendi, baguette. Pop culture immortality. Sex and the City made the baguette iconic. It wasn't just a bag, it was a character, a moment, a cultural timestamp. It's not a bag, it's a baguette. Too many revivals killed novelty. The reissues, the collaborations, the nostalgia plays, each one diluted the original magic. You can't recreate lightning. You can only remind people it's gone. Huge resale drops from peak hype. During the revival, prices spiked. Wait lists formed. Then reality set in and values plummeted. Nostalgia is powerful, but it expires. The baguette became a memory of a feeling, not the feeling itself. A movie reboot no one asked for. The original was perfect. The reboot has better CGI, bigger budget, but zero soul. You watch it once and forget it existed. Now, a brand everyone thought was untouchable. The 3, Gucci, non-icon styles, cultural dominance. Alessandro Michele turned Gucci into a maximalist fever dream. Eclectic, weird, irresistible. For years, Gucci was luxury culture, logo fatigue plus oversupply. The double G appeared on everything. Belts, loafers, bags, socks, scarves, keychains. When the logo is everywhere, it's nowhere special. Non-icon styles listing unsold below retail. The Marmont holds. The Dionysus has fans. But the rest? Dead inventory flooding resale platforms. Overexposure kills desire. What felt like insider knowledge became mainstream ubiquity. The magic vanished under its own success. A chart-topping artist who flooded the market. Brilliant debut. Genre-defining sophomore album. Then 5 albums in 2 years. Overplayed on every playlist. Collaborations with everyone. Suddenly you're tired of hearing them. Only 2 left, and one still stands strong. Number 2, Louis Vuitton Canvas Classics, the global gold standard. Monogram canvas became the universal language of luxury, instantly recognizable, endlessly aspirational. For generations, LV meant arrival, mass adoption. When luxury becomes too accessible, it stops being luxury. The Neverfull became the Starbucks cup of handbags, everywhere. Functional, unremarkable. Moderate resale retention, but slipping. Classic. Pieces still sell, but the premium is shrinking. The wait list disappeared. The urgency faded, still respected, but no longer rare. LV carries legacy weight, heritage, craftsmanship, but in a world where status means scarcity, ubiquity is the enemy. A luxury airline everyone flies. First class is still nice. The champagne still pours. But when every influencer posts from the same cabin, the exclusivity evaporates. So who survived? Number 1, Hermès. Because Hermès didn't just survive the luxury meltdown, they proved it was always avoidable. While every other brand on this list chased growth, Hermès chose restraint. While others expanded, Hermès restricted. While others discounted, Hermès raised prices. While others courted influencers with free bags, Hermès made billionaires wait years. Literally years. This isn't luck. This isn't accident. This is strategy executed with religious discipline for decades. Hermès looked at the entire luxury industry sprinting toward democratization and said no, not because they're elitist, though they absolutely are. Not because they don't want revenue, they're wildly profitable, but because they understood something fundamental that every other brand forgot. Luxury isn't about what you sell, it's about what you withhold. No e-commerce for icon bags. No online shopping cart. No add to bag button for a Birkin. You can't Google your way to a Kelly. You can't refresh a web page until stock appears. You can't join a wait list. There is no system. There is no process. There is no guarantee. You build a relationship with a sales associate. You visit the store repeatedly. You buy other things. Scarves, bracelets, belts, ready to wear. You prove you're not a flipper. You demonstrate genuine appreciation for the brand. You earn trust. And maybe, after months or years of this, your sales associate will offer you the opportunity to purchase a Birkin or Kelly. Not the size you wanted, not the color you dreamed about, not the leather you preferred, the one they have, the one they're willing to sell you, the one you'll say yes to because you've been waiting. This is intentional scarcity at its most extreme. Most brands would call this customer hostility. Hermès calls it brand protection, and the market proves them right. Let's be clear about what Hermès has achieved with the Birkin. They created a handbag. Leather, metal, stitching, nothing technologically complex, that appreciates in value faster than some stocks. A Birkin isn't just holding value, it's creating wealth. Rare colors, exotic leathers, limited editions, some have sold at auction for $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 for a handbag. That's not craftsmanship premium, that's asset class performance. Investment firms track Birkin values. Financial advisors discuss them in wealth planning. Divorce attorneys itemize them in settlements. Hermès turned accessories into alternative investments and did it without ever marketing them that way, because marketing scarcity destroys scarcity. The moment you advertise exclusivity, you admit it's manufactured. You break the spell. Hermès never explains the system, never defends it, never apologizes for it. They simply maintain it and let the market worship it. Birkins appreciate above retail, often significantly. A standard $10,000 Birkin in a desirable size and color resells for $15,000, $25,000 immediately. Exotic leathers command multiples of retail. Limited editions become auction pieces. Kelly bags follow similar trajectories. Constance bags, once easier to acquire, now have wait lists of their own. and resale prices regularly exceed original purchase. Even non-icon Hermès bags hold value better than other brands' flagships: garden party totes, Eveline bags, Picotin baskets. These aren't status symbols in the Birkin sense, but they maintain 80–90% of retail value on resale because the Hermès name itself became a guarantee. Not just of quality, though the quality is exceptional, of scarcity. Hermès understands desire better than any luxury brand alive. They know that humans want what they can't have. They know that easy acquisition kills appreciation. They know that waiting creates emotional investment. When you finally get your Birkin after 2 years of relationship building, you don't just own a bag, you own proof of patience, evidence of discipline, a trophy of delayed gratification. The bag becomes wrapped in narrative. The story of how you got it, the journey, the wait, the moment the SA called. That narrative is priceless, and it can't be replicated by walking into a store and buying something off a shelf. Hermès sells stories disguised as handbags. Carrying Hermès still signals patience, restraint, power, not just wealth. Plenty of brands signal wealth, but control, self-possession, the confidence to wait because you don't need external validation on anyone's timeline but your own. It says, I didn't need instant gratification. I didn't chase trends. I didn't panic buy during a sale. I waited because I could, because I'm secure enough to let desire mature. In a culture of immediacy, that's the ultimate flex. True luxury isn't loud, it waits. And in a world of instant everything, instant delivery, instant communication, instant validation, waiting has become the ultimate status symbol. Hermès customers don't just accept the wait, they embrace it, they retell it, they bond over it. The Hermès game became a shared language among those who play it, and those who don't play it can't understand it, which only makes it more powerful. Scarcity isn't a marketing tactic, it's a philosophy. They could sell more, the demand is there. They could expand production, open more factories, hire more artisans, increase output. They choose not to. They could sell Birkins online, create a reservation system, modernize the process, make it fair. They refuse because they understand that the moment you optimize for volume, you sacrifice mystique, and mystique is the product. The bag is just the vessel. Every brand looks at Hermès and thinks, we should do that, but they can't because it requires generational thinking. Hermès is family-controlled, privately held majority. Not beholden to quarterly earnings reports, they can afford to say no to growth when growth threatens brand equity. Public luxury conglomerates can't. LVMH needs to report growth, Kering needs rising revenues. Shareholders demand expansion, so they chase volume, open more stores, create more product, pursue more customers, and destroy scarcity in the process. Hermès also has a 185-year head start. You can't manufacture heritage. You can't shortcut legacy. Their scarcity is believable because it's historical. They've always operated this way. The system feels authentic because it is. A brand that spent decades being accessible can't suddenly become exclusive. The market won't buy it. It feels manufactured. Desperate. Hermès never had to manufacture it. They just never abandoned it. While other brands panic about relevance, Hermès remains serene. They don't worry about TikTok trends. Don't chase Gen Z with collaborations. Don't discount to move inventory. They make beautiful objects. They maintain scarcity. They let the market come to them. And the market always does, because humans will always crave what's rare, what's difficult, what requires sacrifice. Hermès doesn't sell bags. They sell the satisfaction of having earned something genuinely exclusive, and that never goes out of style. So what separates the collapse from the survivor? Discipline. This ranking isn't really about bags. It's about how luxury culture changed and what survives the shift. For decades, status meant visibility, logos, recognition, instant validation. But the internet flipped that model. Once everyone sees everything, prestige collapses under its own exposure. What's exclusive on Monday is basic by Friday. What's coveted in New York is already copied in Shenzhen. Visibility became the enemy of value. What survives now is scarcity, restraint, silence. The future of luxury doesn't scream. It whispers again. We're already seeing it. Quiet luxury, limited production, brands pulling back instead of pushing volume. The winners won't be the loudest names, but the most disciplined ones. And here's the irony. Today's dirt cheap bags might look like deals, bargains, steals, but only a few will ever regain cultural value because luxury is no longer about what you can buy. It's about what others can't. The brands that collapsed chased growth. They optimized for revenue over mystique. They confused accessibility with aspiration. The brands that survive understand. In luxury, less has always been more. Hermes proved it. Bottega Veneta is learning it. The smart, independent houses are building on it. The next decade of luxury won't belong to the biggest brands. It'll belong to the quietest, the most patient, the ones who remember that desire isn't created by availability, it's created by denial. If you want more breakdowns like this, where money, psychology, and culture collide, subscribe to Lux Crisis, because the next luxury collapse, it's already starting, and the brands that don't see it coming will be next season's clearance rack. The question is, will you see it before they do? See it before they do? See it before they do?